Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Teacher Cast Educational Network. My name is Jeff Bradbury. Thank you so much for joining us today and making Teacher Cast your home for professional development. Today, we're going to be having a very special episode of the Jeff Bradbury Show. Today, we are talking about the 4 things that every podcast website needs to have. Maybe even things you didn't know that you need to have. And we are not only doing this together, but we are doing it live on Facebook and on YouTube and on our very special Build Your EDU brand Facebook group. If you guys are out there watching live, please leave a comment. Would love to know that you guys are here, and we're going to be taking questions. If you guys would like to share something about your website that you're working on this summer, this is the place to be. Of course, you can find out more information over at our website, teachercast.net, and you can learn how to build your EDU brand over at buildyouredubrand.com, where we help you guys not only create your brand, but harness it using your website, using your podcast, using your presentations everywhere. If you're a speaker, blogger, podcaster, any kind of educational content creator, this is that show for you. And today we are going to be talking all about just that, your website. At the end of this summertime, we're going to be celebrating 10 years of creating the Teacher Cast Educational Network. And my goodness, we've gone through so many different variations of our website. It started off on a great little platform called Sandbox, and it moved to WordPress in a couple months. And because of great platforms like WordPress, it has been able to do so many things. And I've loved having the opportunity to work on it. And we're going to take a little bit of time today to talk about some of those things that your website needs, because when we're talking about websites today, most people think about one thing. They think about, what does your website need? Unfortunately, many people look at their website and say, what do I need? And they come up with the answer of plugins. And, for many, that is certainly something that your website needs. We can talk about all the great advantages of plugins like PrettyLink Pro, Yoast SEO, ConvertKit, having multiple sidebars. All of those things are extremely important, but they have nothing to do with you building your brand, nothing to do with you getting your audience, nothing to do with you getting your message out there. If you have a plugin, we'd certainly love to have you help us out with that. You can, of course, find us on Twitter over at TeacherCast. I would love to hear from you guys. But today we're going to break down the 4 most important things. And my goodness, my friends, I think one of the most important things that you guys can have for your website is a focus. Now, let's talk a little bit about that focus. I look at websites and I say that a website is designed for one of 2 different people. It's either designed for me or it's designed for you. And what I mean by that is oftentimes your website is made with that purpose of, this is my website, this is my hobby, this is my business, this is what I'm doing. The website's out there to describe who am I, what am I doing, how do I do it, why should you care about it? And then there's always that, let's work together. I've got a service. How do you contact me so I can do that for you? And that's a great thing. Making a website all about yourself is something I think every brand should have. There's got to be a spot about that in that website that talks a little bit about who you are and why people should care about it. But there's always another aspect of your website, which is that spot where that's all about you. You need to know when making your website who your audience is. You need to know, what problem are you trying to solve? How are you solving it? And how are you going to work with those people that you're working with? And when you're working with them, how do you want them to contact you? By email, by form? And it's really important that your website has one of these 2 focuses. I've had the opportunity over the last couple of years to work with a lot of people and their websites, and there is no focus. It's just a jumbled mess of content up there. We always want to break it down into one of these 2 buckets. Is it all about me, or is it all about you? Let me show you guys a quick example of what this means and what this looks like. If I look over here on the front page of TeacherCast, this is designed to be all about you. What do you want to learn? Do you want to learn about podcasting? Do you want to learn how educational podcasts can be used in your classroom? If you do, sign up. This is a you focus. As we drive down here on the page, it says, what would you like to learn? And of course, it breaks off into the 5 different components that TeacherCast is known for. building your EDU brand, instructional technology coaching, creating a podcast, improving your websites, and classroom technology integration, all that great ed tech stuff. This is completely about you. What kind of information would you want? I've broken this down into the different blog posts, the different video tutorials, and then we've broken it down into the different featured podcasts. Every single thing here is about you, my audience. How do I help you guys out with your needs? The next page I want to show off is our branding page. And again, this is all about you. How do you want to help build your EDU brand? It defines the audience. Do you want to define who your audience is, understand their needs, talks a little bit about who it is, and then I've got a series of things down here that are going to help you guys learn how to build your EDU brand. Now change that around. My Jeffrey Bradbury page is all about me. This is talking about me as the creator, me as the performer, me as the educator. And it's okay to have both of those pages. Everything on here is designed to have you guys learn more about me. So when we're looking at things, it's okay to have a lot of content, but you want to make sure that you have a focus. Now, I do see some people out there watching on YouTube and on Facebook. Do me a favor, guys. Please leave a comment below. We would love to hear from you guys, and I'd love to help you guys build your EDU brand tonight. So if you have any comments about this, please let me know. And I'll just say right off the bat, you can tell my throat's a little off today. It's been a great weekend, but we wanted to come out here live and do this for you guys. Now, the second thing that we're looking at today is not just a focus, but having a well organized office suite. Now, you're probably thinking, what does an office suite have to do with my podcast website? Well, if you're not organized on the back end, you're not going to be organized on the front end. And if you're not organized at all, you're not going to be able to have people like, know, and trust you. You're not going to be able to make people subscribe to you guys. You want to make sure that you're able to maximize your time. And the best way to do that is through having a well organized office suite. There's the two biggies out there. And of course, there's many others. Please let me know which ones that you guys like. The two biggies, of course, are Microsoft 365 and Google. I think they're calling it Google Workstation these days. And as I mentioned earlier, for the last 10 years, TeacherCast has been running in a relatively organized state. I was running a Google Suite for many, many years, but last year I switched everything over into running Microsoft Teams. Everything that I'm doing is organized. And in fact, I want to show you guys that in a couple seconds because it's all about the pre-built templates and creating forms that make things automated. Are you ready to dive in? Let's do that together. Here we go. So as we look over here, this is the back end of TeacherCast. This is Microsoft Teams. You can notice here that on the left side, I've got a number of teams from everything here on my TeacherCast network, my coaching. I've got a podcast that I run with a good friend called The Art of Listening, all about classical music and music history. Then we're able to use Teams to actually organize my family needs. And we're going to talk about that in a different episode here, but we've got things for podcast planning. We've even got applications. I'm using Teams to organize my doctoral program, for goodness sakes. So there's a lot of good stuff. You can even see here, I'm using Teams to organize my book. Let's dive in here together. I'm going to dive in here to Ask the Tech Coach. And you'll notice as I drop down here, I've got channels, and Teams organizes things into channels. Think of a channel as basically a hard drive. And if I click into the Ask the Tech Coach podcast, I'm going to click over here under the file section, and you'll notice that Teams is all about these templates. I've organized all of my featured show notes inside of Word docs using templates. And you might be sitting here thinking, oh my goodness, how do I organize everything? Well, I'll show you how we do that. If we come on over here, we use an app called Microsoft Planner to put our editorial calendar together. This was what I've been spending the last couple hours doing here. But if you notice here, everything is designed in buckets, and we've got buckets for podcasting, for our Tech Coach Weekly series, our Tech Coach newsletters, our Jeff Bradbury show. Everything that we're here is this. Now, if you are listening to the audio version of this, obviously you can't see this, but you'll make sure to head on over to teachercast.net/YouTube. Everything that we're doing here has a visual version because we are live. And if you guys, again, have any questions, let me know. I'd be happy to ask and answer some of your questions for you. So having a great organizational structure like Teams, like Planner. Now you can do this in Google. Certainly nothing wrong with it. I'm found teams and I absolutely love it. We're even going to be working here on a version of our video series all about teams to help you guys use teams to build your EDU brands. Now, if you're thinking here, can I do this? Of course, the answer is yes. Many of these tools are free and you can use them. Office is something I wouldn't necessarily recommend going on the free route. If you pay for it, it's like 12 bucks a month. It gives you so many great features. I highly recommend using it, but that's just the second thing that your website needs. By having these templates, by having this editorial calendar, there's so many things that I'm able to do on this show. Coming live, for instance, we can put it all together. So let's look at the third thing here. It's having your clearly defined landing pages. Now, recently we did a webinar with our friends at Agile EDU all about email marketing, and that's something that we're very passionate about here. And we have a lot of content over on Build Your EDU Brand. We even have a 90-day email marketing course. If you're interested in learning more about that, you can go on over to buildyouredubrand.com and you can sign up for our free 90-day email marketing course. Would love to have you guys be a part of that, but making sure you have a clearly defined landing page. Let's go back to this one here on buildyouredubrand.com. Again, you can see a clearly defined menu. I need help with, start your brand, tools, and of course, free things. Then it goes into what do you want to do to build your EDU brand? It again defines who your audience is, offers different ways that we can work together, clearly states what you're looking to do. Perhaps maybe you're looking for email marketing, and then underneath of here, we have all of our Jeff Bradbury Show podcasts. Very clear, very easily defined, very similar to the look that we have over here on the Jeff Bradbury homepage. Talks a little bit about myself, shares off one of my favorite speeches, my TED Talk, and then really goes down and gives a good resume of who I am and what I can do for you. So having a clearly defined landing page is something that we want to make sure that we're having here. But you need to know what the intent of this page is. You need to know what you want your users to do. For instance, when you come to the Build Your EDU brand landing page, I want you to sign up for the newsletter. I want you to become an expert in email marketing so you can help your brand out now. I want that page to help you tell your story. But most importantly, I want you to make sure that you can have Google and all those wonderful search engines out there find your page. So if we were going back in time here and we're looking at those four things, number one, we want to make sure we have a focus to your website. Number two, we want to have a well organized, back end office suite, some way to organize all of your stuff. We want to have clearly defined landing pages. And lastly, we are going to now focus on that email marketing. You want to have clear calls to action. You want to make sure that somebody knows that you want them to work with you. You want to have some enticing giveaways. You're going to notice over here on our page, every single section of this has a freebie up on top. I've got a free online course that when you click on that, it takes you to another landing page where you can sign up to build your EDU brand in our email marketing course. It is absolutely free and would love to have you in there. You want to make sure that you've got something automated. After all, if you're going to be collecting emails and someone's going to give you their email, you want to help take them on a journey. You want to get them to like, know, and trust. Over here on TeacherCast, we have a lot of automations. And if I just scroll down a few of these things, we use a great application called ConvertKit, which you can find over at teachercast.net/ConvertKit. You can see here every single one of our forms has an automation, so it takes my users through a journey to make sure that they're getting the right information. So that way, somebody who wants to learn about coaching only gets the coaching stuff. Somebody who wants to learn about podcasts only gets the podcasting stuff. It's a great way. You want to make sure that when you're putting your website together, you've got a nice team like the ones over at ConvertKit that can help you out with your automation, segmentations, tags, all of that great stuff. If you guys have any questions about any of this stuff, please let me know. Would love to have you guys on the team here and would be loving to help you guys out as we go through here. You want to make sure that all of these things are good. I'm going to mention something here we have at the bottom, which is no pop-ups on that front page. Please take those pop-ups off the front page. It is not for you guys. You want to put your pop-ups on those secondary and thirdary pages. You want to make sure that when somebody comes to your website, they are not scared away. So there's a lot of great things that we can do here, but those are the four things that we're looking at. Make sure your website has a focus. Make sure that you're organized with everything that you're doing. Make sure that when somebody comes to your website, there's a clearly defined purpose. And after they leave your website, make sure that they're on your mailing list. Make sure that you know how to stay in touch with them, get a hold of them, and also be able to contact them and let them know about all the great stuff you're doing. Now, if you out there are watching, or even if you're in your car, we've got some nice giveaways. You can go to teachercast.net/build your EDU brand online course. Would love to have you guys. My goodness, my throat is going. So sorry about all that stuff today. But we've got some great stuff over there at teachercast.net/build your EDU brand online course. Would love to have you guys as a part of that. And of course, we want to say thank you guys for taking a moment and listening to the Jeff Bradbury Show as we are live each and every week over on Facebook and on YouTube. And that wraps up episode number 35 of the Jeff Bradbury Show. We've got tons of stuff going on over the summertime, and we are here to help you no matter if you're a blogger, podcaster, speaker, or any kind of educational content creator. This is that show for you. So on behalf of everybody here in the TeacherCast Educational Network, my name is Jeff Bradbury, reminding you guys to keep up the great work in your classrooms and continue sharing your passions with your students.